Alrighty, everybody, another freezing cold day out here. Boy, single-digit temperatures all week, if not below zero. So, gonna go for a quick drive. Got to run an errand and pick up some supplies for our job. Figured we'd talk about this new presidential administration and exactly what it means as far as Trump's economic plans, how that might affect all of our wallets, because there's certain to be an impact over the next 4 years. So, I want to welcome you back to the channel, of course. Let's start off with that. We break down finances here on the channel, and we dive into some of, the overall economics that affect all of us in order for me to make smarter decisions with our money and ultimately maximize our cash flow. That's how much money is left over at the end of every month. If you like the sound of that, please subscribe. So today we're going to be diving into something that's already making waves, and that's Donald Trump's return to the White House and the big economic policies that he is planning to roll out during his term. And whether you love him or you hate him, these changes are going to affect us all. So let's break it down and figure out exactly what it means for your wallet. So first up, Trump's big push for tariffs. He's proposing some hefty taxes on imports, 25% on goods from Canada and Mexico, and 10% on products that are coming in from China. And the idea, I guess, is to encourage American companies to manufacture more here in the United States, here at home, which sounds great in theory. Ideally, it means more jobs, right? I think that's the proposed outcome, the hypothesis here. But let's take a look at the possible flip side of this. If you're somebody who shops at Walmart, or you buy everyday items like clothing, electronics, maybe even food, those tariffs could mean higher prices for you. And companies will generally pass down the cost of tariffs onto us, the consumers. So you might actually see your grocery bill or your orders on Amazon becoming more expensive. Now, if you work in manufacturing, it could be good news. I mean, domestic companies might actually expand some of their operations. It might lead to more job opportunities in industries like steel, automotive industries. The automotive industry might see benefit from this, and of course electronics too. But again, those benefits are not guaranteed, especially if companies find ways to automate instead of hiring more workers, which, as we know with technology, is happening a lot lately. Next, let's talk taxes. Trump is doubling down on tax cuts, and one of his big ideas is to eliminate the taxes on Social Security, income, and on tips. And if you're retired, or if, say, you work in the hospitality industry, this could be a good thing for you. You might put more cash in your pocket immediately. But here's the kicker. These tax cuts could end up adding a ton to the national debt. When the government cuts taxes, it's essentially just reducing its own income. And unless spending is slashed in order to balance that out, we're going to be borrowing more and more money as a country. And get this, I mean, over the past 3 administrations alone, the U.S. national debt has experienced, obviously, enormous growth. If we look back to Obama's term from 2009 to 2017, there was a 70% rise in the national debt, a total of $8.34 trillion. In fact, when Donald Trump got into office in 2017 and was there until 2021, debt increased by $8.18 trillion, which was another 40.43% increase to the national debt. And then finally, our last administration with Biden, the debt increased as of April of 2024 by 21.7%, which was $6.17 trillion. And as of January of 2025, right now, the national debt stands at approximately $36.2 trillion. And as you guys know, that will probably lead to more inflation down the road, which means that our dollar will continue to go less and less far. So, of course, there could potentially be some people that feel relief in the short term, but it could come back to bite us all if inflation continues to spike, or if programs like Social Security end up getting squeezed due to the funding shortfalls down the road. Trump's also declared what he's calling a national energy emergency. And if you're curious what his goal is there, it's really to just ramp up domestic oil drilling and reduce reliance on green energy. And he wants to cut back on the regulations that he argued are holding back the energy sector. Excuse me, I'm fighting a bit of a cold. Now, if you drive a car, which we're in myself right now, or if you heat your home, using, say, natural gas, this could actually mean lower energy costs for you in the near future, right? Might spend less at the gas pump or on those utility bills, which we certainly appreciate in the moment, but I don't want to ignore the potential environmental consequences to this. Less regulation, of course, is oftentimes going to mean less oversight on pollution and sustainability, which of course could have very long-term impacts and consequences for future generations who might end up paying for it in other ways. It's a classic trade-off, right? Short-term savings versus long-term consequences, and depending on where you live, these policies might affect you differently. States that rely on renewable energy, for instance, they could see some of their local industries struggling more, while the oil-producing regions of our country might actually boom. The next big area that people are expecting change during Trump's administration are Trump's immigration policies. And here's where things get even more interesting. Trump is going to be cracking down on immigration harder than ever, with plans for mass deportations and stricter immigration laws, and that could shake up industries like agriculture, construction, landscaping, farming, even restaurant sectors that really do rely heavily on immigration and these immigrant laborers. For the average American, this might mean paying more for things like fresh produce. Maybe your home renovations are going to cost more, or dining out. And I can speak for myself. Home renovations are out of control right now. Everything I hire for is already up so much. And if labor costs go up because of these shortages, then of course businesses will have to pass that increase on to consumers. This policy, of course, might open up some jobs for more U.S. citizens, but it is likely to create a ripple effect that will hit us all in the wallet. And finally, Trump's got his eye on the Federal Reserve. And there's talk of limiting its independence and giving the president more control over interest rate decisions. And why does this matter to us? Well, the Fed is basically in charge of keeping inflation under control and stabilizing the economy. Certainly haven't done a great job of that, but that's one of their big roles. And if political influence creeps into those decisions, it could really make the economy more volatile. Imagine interest rates being kept artificially low in order to boost popularity, right? Maybe before an election, for instance. That could be great for borrowing now, but it might lead to, again, inflation or even a financial bubble after the fact. And that kind of instability could hurt the average American by making things like mortgages and auto loans or any other type of borrowing a lot more unpredictable. So what's the bottom line to all of this? Trump's economic plans are bold, as we all expected, and they're designed to certainly shake things up. If you're a business owner, you might benefit from things like tax cuts and deregulation. If you're in manufacturing or in energy, you might see more job opportunities available for you there. But for the average person, these policies are going to be coming with risks. Higher prices, potential inflation, even job market disruptions. And as always, the best thing that you can do is prepare. Should have been preparing long before now, but if you're a little bit behind the eight ball on this, start by budgeting. You can grab my favorite tool for that outside of QuickBooks, which is much more detailed. But for the average household, you can go to cashflowcruncher.com and benefit greatly from that tool. It's free forever. Make sure you then build up your funds for emergencies. Make sure you pay off your high interest debts rapidly. There's tons of videos on this channel showing really cool ways to do that very quickly. And keep an eye on inflation, right? Think twice about big financial decisions like buying a home or a car, especially if interest rates are in flux. And stay informed, guys. That's why we're here on this channel. There are many great channels for it. Make sure you let me know in the comments section below, how do you think Trump's administration and his policies are going to play out? Will they help the economy? Will they hurt the average American? Think long-term and short-term. I think there's two sides to that coin. Don't forget to hit that like button. If you want more videos like this, hit the dislike button and let us know if you hate the videos we make when they involve the greater scope of the economy. We certainly love your feedback. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you want some of the best ways you'll find here on YouTube to get ahead of the banks and maximize that cash flow. Until we see you on the next video, guys, stay smart, stay prepared, and keep on cash flowing.